More than 500,000 people have already crossed into neighboring countries, and the UN now says this crisis could amount to 4 million in the next few days. Phil Lipof is in Lublin, Poland, and has been following their stories directly. Phil, what are you seeing and hearing there?
Well, Diane, we are hearing and seeing despair and fear and uncertainty and sadness, and it's only growing and getting worse. We're in Lublin, Poland, which is a city of about 300,000. Up until 4 or 5 days ago, it was business as usual. We are about an hour and a half away from the closest border crossing. We've been to that border and we've seen the activity increase by the day, but only within the last 48 hours have we really seen the activity here. And when I say activity, I mean Ukrainian refugees coming here an hour and a half away from the border to Lublin, and they are staying in hotels and they're staying with friends and family. We've spoken to many of these women, and Diane, as you know, they are mostly women and children and some elderly men, but their husbands and brothers are back fighting. We've spoken to many of them. I want to introduce you to a woman named Olia. Now, I could tell you her story, but hearing it from her is something else. On the steps of Lublin City Hall, Ukrainian refugees, women and children, singing their national anthem, an act of defiance and a desperate plea for help. Singing through tears, holding their children tightly, displaying their country's colors and pain on their faces. In the middle of it all, we find Olia with her 2 children, Alexander, 7, and Ariana, just 3. Olia speaks her native Ukrainian, but here, across the border, she answers our questions in Polish. Coming here was to keep them safe.
Tak, my przyjechaliśmy tutaj tylko zaraz dzieci i my po prostu mamy nadzieję, że my, nie wiem, że to wszystko się skończy 3-4 dni, my po prostu chcemy do domu.
In her heart, she knows that won't be possible. Showing us these pictures of her husband with their kids, she must believe he will be okay. Right now, he's fighting the Russians. This war, the refugee crisis, too big to shield her children from. Not even little Ariana. It's almost too much to take.
Oni wszystko wie. Moja córka, ona wie, co w Ukrainie, ona mówi, mama, tato będzie żył? Mama, gdzie tato? Mama, czemu nie ma tata? Mama, kiedy przyjdzie do nas tato? Mama, ja chcę do domu, ja chcę do tata. Mama, tato teraz trzyma automat, oni wszystko wie.
All this mother can do is pray for her husband, her country, and protect her children here in Poland.
To was drugi dom I traktujcie nas jako swoich przyjaciół.
A safe place, the mayor here says, where refugees can stay as long as they want. And when I ask what Olia needs the world to know, we note something in her response.
Dobrze, my chcemy dla України wszystko najlepszego. Ми chcemy, żeby był мир в Україні. Ми не хочемо, щоб Росія на нас нападала.
When she uses the word peace, she suddenly begins to speak Russian, a poignant reminder that most everyone in this region is connected in some way, a reminder that no matter what the language, the message of peace, hope, and safety is the same. So we spoke to Olia for about 15 minutes, and obviously she was very emotional during the interview. To hear her cry while she talks is one thing, but all of us who are my producer here, Nate, our photographer, Peter, Igor, we all heard the stress you could hear in her voice. And Diane, you heard her there in the story say she hopes it's 3 to 4 days. It's been 3 to 4 days. She's staying here in Lublin, Poland, and there is no end in sight.
And Phil, you mentioned there that Olia suddenly started to speak Russian. How does that work into this whole thing? How closely connected in some ways the people being attacked are to the people attacking them?
Diane, it's a great question, and it's something I hadn't thought about. But while we were doing the interview, our photographer, Peter, noticed that she slipped into speaking Russian in the middle of that sentence. And when she used the word peace, she used the Russian word for peace. Eastern Europe is connected by history, and some dark history at times, but it's also connected in a way by language. Take Ukraine, for instance. If you live in the east of Ukraine, most Ukrainians there will speak Ukrainian, but they will also speak Russian. You live in the West, a lot of Ukrainians will speak Polish because they have friends and family over in this area. They work in this area. They come over on vacation here in this area. It was interesting speaking to Olia because she knew that we weren't speaking Russian here, so she spoke Polish. And just when she said that word peace, she used the Russian word for peace, but it was noticed by our photographer that she noticed it, and she switched back to Polish immediately.
And Phil, the new estimates coming in now from the UN are we could see up to 4 million people displaced in just the next few days. So how are neighboring countries like Poland going to handle that?
Well, Poland's been preparing for more than a week now. They have 123 of these reception centers that are ready to receive Ukrainian refugees and help them transition to a shelter if they need to, or get them to their friends and family here. Already here in Ukraine, Diane, there are about 2 million, in Poland, there are about 2 million Ukrainians living here. So a lot of these refugees coming this way into Poland will have friends and family, but we're at 400 and something thousand right now. You're talking about 4 million. I mean, there's a refugee crisis right now. It only gets worse. I will tell you, and this is a very small gesture, but it's what we're seeing and what we will see on a larger scale here in Poland. We were in Lublin's Old City today, and we walked past a restaurant, and there was a sign, and in Ukrainian, it said, we have solidarity with the people of Ukraine, and we have free soup if you had to flee your home.
All right, Phil Lipof in Lublin, Poland. We appreciate it, Phil. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.